To start this video off, I have a quick question. What does Lawbringer and the fun hit game Destiny 2 have in common? Drip feed levels of updates that turn out to not be very great in hindsight. That's right, we're talking about Lawbringer's Rework. I put quotation marks on that because, reworks normally come out with a hero fully reworked at the same time. But in this case, he was buffed over a course of months and years. But finally, after the Warriors in December, he finally got the final addition to his rework. So me being me, it's time to milk Lawbringer for the third time in a row and talk about his rework as a whole, and how it's not only a blessing that he is better, but also a curse at the same time. Where we're going to go through each and every buff in order from when they were added to the game. But before we do that, if you're new or returning and want to support me, the sub button is free, and it's a huge ask, but I'd like to hit 20k before the end of the year. Anyways, let's get on to the video. So before Lawbringer's rework, he was regarded as one of the worst heroes in the game. What I found funny though is that even in this stage of the game of him being terrible, the devs still decided to nerf him by taking his impale charge off of his heavy. Their explanation? Well, this hero that excelled off of parrying and was identified as a parry punisher was too good at it. They didn't like the fact that on maps like the ranked duels maps, he got a free heavy attack on every single impale charge because they always got to a wall in time, which I could understand. Getting a top heavy after every single heavy parry was annoying, sure. I'm sure there isn't another hero that gets even more damage that gets the exact same thing, right? Well, the point is that the nerf felt as unjust as if McDonald's decided that one day they wanted to stop putting salt on their fries. Sure, they're extremely salty and will probably cause me health problems at the end of the day, but look man, that's what makes them so good. To move on to the actual start of the rework, it was a lot of give and take, and this is exactly how reworks should be. So let's go down the list. They give him hyper armor on all his chain heavies to help his teamfight capabilities, while also giving him a chain light to all heavies to help his chain pressure, allowing him to go into his unblockables instantly. They took his damage away from him, going from 24 to 20 to compensate for the new chain light on all heavy attacks, and removed all stamina drain and pause and stun from his moves. All in all, pretty good give and take, but Lawbringer for the hero felt like he was hitting people with a fucking pool noodle instead of a halberd. So what did this overall buff do for Lawbringer? Honestly, not much in reality. While his chain pressure was better, it was still hard to get into his chains because you had two options, light attacks and opener bash, both not being very fantastic options and still not being great options. With this buff, they also gave him a pseudo-infinite 50-50 of unblockable and soft feint top heavy, where if you landed the top heavy finisher, you can instantly chain with the light chain and instantly go back into the same exact 50-50 you just did, or if you guard broke them, which obviously gave you a heavy attack, which also chained the lights, with yet again, put you right into the unblockable finisher. A lot of heroes already had this in the game, so it's not really a valid complaint, but now it felt pretty boring knowing that a Lawbringer is only going to fish for this option over and over and over and over again. So before his rework, Lawbringer's problems was that his dodge bash sucked, his opener was garbage, he couldn't chase anyone that rolled away from him, and his team fight was lacking compared to other heroes in this category. Now after his rework, his dodge bash sucked, his opener wasn't very good, he still couldn't catch people running away from him, but his team fight was better. So after the rework, they addressed 1 out of the 4 of the options, but don't fret, the forum dev said that there's plenty of more patches coming for Lawbringer, including that sweet roll catch. It would then be a literal year until Lawbringer would be addressed again. In October 24th, 2024, they would see Lawbringer's Rework Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. This is one short and sweet. It addressed his dodge bash, giving it iframes for 300 ms instead of 100 ms and giving it extra side movement to get out of the way of attacks. The dev stated that they changed his animations to make it look not floaty and to make it look like it actually dodged the attack, instead of the weapon going right through Lawbringer. So what happened was the exact opposite. Instead of dodging, he puts his favorite pair of ice skates on and floats around you like a ballerina. While the entire time weapons will still fly right through him, being extremely immersion breaking. But it's what we asked for, right? I mean, Lawbringer didn't have a good dodge attack, so we can't complain about getting what we asked for. Welcome to For Honor, you must be new. We all have PhDs in complaining. This, like his last buff, made Lawbringer extremely brain dead when it came to counter-attacking and defensive playstyles. You see, when any Lawbringer feels that they are in danger, they panic and just dodge bash. No guard break vulnerability, increased iframes, made it so goddamn frustrating, and it still is extremely frustrating. Not because it made him a really good character, but to beat a Lawbringer, you had to basically feint any and all offense you wanted, and just wait for his dodge bash over and over again. This turned any and all fights with Lawbringer players into tedious chores where, yeah, sure, it was an easy win, but it was an also boring win, knowing that your opponent is only going to crutch on a move that is never actually going to help him because he's been punished 5 times in a row already. Alright, well, that sucks. Somewhere down the line, they gave him his chain bash after light attacks, which really helped his chain pressure before, because the only way to access his chain bash was on heavy attacks. But seeing as now he can go straight into his finisher after one heavy, it felt like a lackluster and overall worse option overall. So now 2 reworks in a row, and still only about half of Lawbringer's problems have been addressed. And yet again, players received the news that the roll catch would be in the next update, something they said last time. So why is not getting a roll catcher such a big deal when he's getting buff after buff? Well, while all these buffs he was receiving were well and good, let's say if someone wanted to disengage from a losing fight and go heal, well, the only thing Lawbringer could do is watch in horror as their opponent countered their entire new moveset by just walking away. So 2 updates and still no roll catcher. People got restless, even to the point where they made roll catch splicing animation or concept videos. It's safe to say that the only buff LB mains really wanted was to be able to stop people from running away from them in fights, like how women often run away from them in public. Surely though, over an entire year span of being in concept, Lawbringer's roll catch would be really worth the wait, right? Well, that's the question that would be answered on December of 2024, where Lawbringer would finally receive his roll catch. But what players found awfully confusing is that they never revealed the roll catch. The devs outright just refused to show it off, which was weird because they showed Nushia's new zone off, which is in the same patch, and they showed it off pretty proudly. So why were they so hesitant to show off a roll catch that everyone's been asking for, and it's been in development for years? It wasn't that much big of a deal because the patch would come out the next day that gave him this roll catch, so everyone's questions would soon be answered. To even my surprise when I first saw this, I did not even realize what it was. Also, I can see why they didn't show off the roll catch, because it's just an animation cancel. I thought I was just dodging forward and then putting a heavy, but no, this was the roll catch. So after all this time, you have to tell Lawbringer mains that their roll catch is just a glorified heavy attack that reused the animation, but flung him forward extremely awkwardly. LB mains were not happy after getting their hands on this. The move also kind of sucks.
You better not lose to him. He's 0-3 right now.
I mean, it's a long windup, tracking out dodges is abysmal, and it has no hyper armor at all. So is it even a viable move? Well, it is feintable. You wouldn't know that because if you didn't test the move to its fullest, you wouldn't know, because nothing actually tells you that this move has feintable properties. Not even the developer patch notes state it, so, I mean, yeah, I love when the devs hide mechanics and not tell you that they exist. Yeah, good communication with your player base, guys. It's kind of like if Destiny 2 had a new exotic weapon and the devs just did not tell you how to get it. So, yeah, go figure it out, guys. Yeah, that's a great marketing tool. So now that the entire rework is fully finished and out in the live game, what single word would I use to explain it? Disappointing. Lawbringer's rework took a hero that took brain power and a hero that had to fight tooth and nail to win his fights to dodge bash and to wait a year after year after year to get the least innovative, uncreative shit of peace with your trash roll catch that I literally forget exists 90% of the time because it's just not good. In reality, it's pretty poo-poo stinky ass balls. I know Ubisoft is struggling right now, but just giving him a forward heavy, more forward movement after a forward dodge is not a roll catch. That's like a placeholder animation. Even him being able to impale charge while being extremely overpowered would still be better looking and feel like a roll catch. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on the fully completed Lawbringers testing runs. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I love you, and I hope you guys have a great day.